Okay, well, hello friends. Sorry it's been so long. Again, I've just been caught up with lots of other things and I've been wanting to do this for a little while. But as you can see, it's going to take a little bit of time. So the weekend has been the only opportunity to do it without doing a proper full stop at Southampton, which seemed a little bit pointless. Anyway, if you're watching, welcome. Thanks for joining. Enhanced Skyscapes has been updated. It has smooth weather now. I haven't tried it out, but I am still struggling a little bit with frame rates and GPU load, which is a little bit of a shame. We're sort of hovering around the 27 at the moment, so hopefully that's not going to be too limiting. I think what you can do is set a maximum number of cloud layers, but you've got to do that in the what is the word I'm looking for in the settings file for these, and I haven't had a chance to play around with that yet. So fundamentally still need a new GPU, sadly. Hopefully X-Plane 12, you never know, might be a little bit more efficient when it comes to GPU utilization, etc. Anyway, without further ado, let's go get our jet.
Welcome to Hot Start Flight Support. How can we help you today?
Well, hello Jenny, it's been a little while. We are looking to depart at 14:30 Zulu. We are going to have initially 3 crew, 7 packs, and then we're going to Southampton to pick up 2 more friends and head over to Stavanger to start our Norway tour. We are going to need a little bit of fuel. Might as well use the GPU, and that should, in fact, do us.
Of course, Captain. I'll get that organized for you right away.
Wonderful. So let's head out to the jet. I've done a little bit of tweaking. With Yeovilton. A lot of these markers have been put in with individual points, and I don't know why they did that. These white marks are actually not white marks at all, but where they used to have parking spots that have now been, the paint has been taken off, revealing whiter concrete underneath. So that's what those are meant to represent, and this could do with some work. So I'm sort of tweaking it. I probably won't upload it until X-Plane 12 comes out. I'm pretty much putting a pause on any scenery work. I haven't done all the hangars, but you can see this one had doors in the wrong place. The door's meant to be the end, and I've tweaked those. There was also about 4 or 5 all overlapping each other, which was quite odd. So anyway, here we are on spot 3-1. Let me just write that down. I don't think we're going to have any ATC, but no matter. I am just going to load up Volanta. I'm going to add a flight plan from let's load that one up. And the alternate is Heathrow. And the aircraft is ATIS. It's a little bit of a nightmare with multi-sector stuff because it doesn't quite pick all these up. So we're just outside ATC coverage. We should have London South for Southampton as we get a little bit closer. Having Volanta on screen, I got rid of 2 more pop-ups. I thought that might help, and it doesn't appear to have done much, although now we're limited by CPU. Anyway, that's the sort of nif-naf, faff, and admin. Wing feels to be clear of ice. Excellent. Well, let's open up the jet. And let's take a good old look at her. In other news, I will be hopefully flying tomorrow. I know it's going to be relatively showery, but fingers crossed, first trip in a DA40 tomorrow, which will be hopefully good. take those out and just leave the nose chock in, and you can see the remove before flight pin is stuck in the door. The level of detail that Toto put into that, and onto the strips dangling in the wind. So yeah, still quite stuttery. This wing appears to be clear of ice. Take out the pin and the chock, and you can see the airplane looks to be intact. Don't see any fluid leaks. One day I'm sure things like that will be simulated. And as always, guys, if you are watching, hello Glenn, I can just about see the chat from there. I run it on an iPad now, a little iPad mini. Somebody's bought the GPU, so I can just about see the chat, so thanks for joining. So let's jump in. Have a look. Circuit breakers wise, they all appear to be in, because I have fiddled with those. Same that side. Same all over here. Did we leave that on? Oh dear. Now you'd like to think that would flatten the battery. That might be a problem if it has, although once we're on AC power that will sort itself out. The battery will start getting charged. Although, if there's a flat battery, I don't know if I've got the QRH for a flat battery APU start. Interesting. Anyway, aeroplane and flight pubs, we don't have circuit breakers. I've checked. Emergency equipment, can't check. Hydraulic pumps, they're pretty key. Let's check that they are all off. I'm going to pop the nav lights on. They won't obviously come on just yet. So, nose steer is correctly mapped, recycled off. Landing gear lever is down and matches my hardware. Flight spoiler correctly mapped and stowed. ADG manual release landing gear stowed, and the lamp test don't have to do that on this one, but we have. And with that in mind, this frame rate is going to be terrible. I can feel it. So AC buses discharging suitable external power, and we've got 25 volts, so we don't have to worry that excuse me, that the fuel panel was left on. So with that in mind, we can do the FireX 1, 2 left and right scripts OK. APU scripts OK. Fire detect warning.
Jet pipe
5 red.
overheat.
Oral.
Jet
1, 2,
pipe
3 red.
overheat.
3 green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Caution. Checked, the nav lights are on and the APU start we're not going to do, but we are going to establish AC electrics. Excuse me. So AC on, DC on, batteries are charging, and all the buses and TRUs are on.
Flight compartment checklist. AC and DC electrics.
Checked.
Nav lights, logo light.
On, logo off.
Cockpit lights.
Set.
Lamp test.
I'll just do that in a minute. Now what I am going to do, so I normally have a clock as a pop out. I have this one, small. If I pop that out, does that make much of a difference? So GPU, CPU, relatively high. No, it doesn't make much of a difference. It freezes a little when you move it. But what have I got there on the GPU? 282, 314. maybe hits the CPU a little bit more, and that's what's limiting at the moment. So I can live with that. So the issue is you guys can see this here when I move. No, you can't. That's off screen. So off screen over here on my ultra wide, I don't actually see that either because I that page there because I drop the monitor down, so I look like I've got an actual panel in front of me. I can't see that, I suppose. Even if I lean forward, it's a bit of a pain. Anyway, lamp test. I haven't mapped to anything, and so it's just one of them really. That looks serviceable.
Duct monitor
Is of course up here. Test. Oral. Bleed air duct. 4 switch lights, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and duct test OK.
Bleed air duct.
Loop A OK. Loop B OK.
FMS database status.
We'll do that and then we'll talk about the fuel because I'm sure the fueler will be popping over in a minute. Status. So let's pop the old one in, recycle it. There we go, right, that's done it. 29th of May, AIRAC 5. Happy.
FMS flight plan uplink, ATIS.
So we can do that. It won't take that long. So all of those appear to work. I am going to open up the wing tanks. And fuel-wise, I think we're going to request the 3,700 kilos. I'll explain why in a moment.
All right, Captain. Fuel truck is hooked up. Just let me know how much fuel you need. Or would you like to go tanks full today?
So we'll take away 1340. Gives us 2360. We're going to divide that by 0.81. Gives us 2913.6. 2920.
All right, I'm gonna go start up the pump.
Wonderful. So quantity-wise, I think we just be filling the wing tanks up. He'll tell us if it stops. So fuel today for the multi-sectors. We need a block fuel from Southampton to Stavanger of 3117. That's got an extra 30 minutes of fuel, and that's of course got our trip. Our trip fuel is 1600. 5-minute contingency of 89 kilos. Our alternate is, I'm not sure where, BGO, and a 30-minute final reserve with 30 minutes extra for VATSIM, etc. Gives us a takeoff fuel of 3015 plus 102 for taxi at Southampton. Now, obviously, we then have to add on. So we've got a minimum takeoff fuel to get to Southampton of 1230. Now, what I'm not going to do is add 3117 to 1230 and the taxi fuel, for instance, because our trip to Southampton is 282. A 5-minute contingency, well, we can add that on as well. Our alternate of Heathrow is 486. Our alternate is 429. And a final reserve 403. You don't need to do the final reserve twice, so you can get rid of one of those and then add the taxi fuel on. And that gave about 3.5 in total, which I then rounded up to 3.7 just for approaches, delays, and a little bit of contingency. But certainly is better than taking 3.1 plus another 1.2, just to make it a bit more efficient as we are tankering the fuel. And of course we could fuel up at Southampton, but because what did we just start off with? Say 1340. Yes, that would have been minimum takeoff fuel. That would have just about been enough. Just about. But then we would have needed to fuel up at Southampton. And what's the point in that? We've got about a 20-minute turnaround when we get there. So, flight plan. Let's have a look. Request is still pending. That's interesting. Hotel India, yeah, that should work, but maybe it's because it isn't. So, why don't I cancel that, and I'm actually going to put the secondary flight plan in, and we can leave that there while I do this one. And we can put in Echo November. Zulu Victor. Let's see if that one comes through, because we can certainly leave that. Yes, it has. That's our secondary flight plan. So we can actually get that going, and then our actual flight plan will pop in because it's a relatively short one. So Echo November Bravo Romeo is our alternate. Let's check this route. So direct Ockham it probably will not be. Don't know if there's a SID or a star. And that's interesting, because that is not the same that I've got here, so it is worth checking. Oh no, I tell a lie. Goodwood, Ockham, Upper Mike 185, KOBBI, Mike 197, Brain, Quebec 295, PAAVO, Mike 604 to ROKAN, Papa 1 to TINDI, direct CUTEL, IBGUP, LAMRO, NIVUN, UNBUD, Mike 82 to UNBUD, happy. So I am actually happy with that as our secondary flight plan, so we'll do this manually for our current one to Southampton. So Echo Golf Delta Yankee, Hotel India, Heathrow, and our route.
Refueling is complete, Captain. Do you need anything else?
Oh, interesting. No, that should be fine. So 37, we got 3660.
Okay, just one quick signature on here, and I'll be on my way. Here's a copy for your records. Have a nice day.
£4,000 worth of fuel. So we're going to go to ADKIK. And then November 19 to the Southampton VOR. Wicked. So 3690, we also 37, that can go off, I'll leave that on. And I'm happy with that so far, not the frame rate though. It's the CPU working hard. So let's connect to the VATSIM. See what loads up. 129425 is on COM1, so that's on standby, which is good. There's no London West. Happy. So I think we haven't done all of our flight plans, but we are in. We've done both the routes. So ATIS. Let's do it this side. and we've got quite a few to do. So terminal weather for Echo Golf Delta Yankee, Echo Golf Hotel India, Heathrow, Stavanger, and Bravo Romeo. All 5 of those.
Anti-skid.
Do that. Test. Anti-skid in test. Checked.
Nose door.
So we'll check that's clear. So imagine we're looking outside.
Hydraulic 3A pump.
So quantities and temps look sufficient. 3A pump
Brake pressure.
on. We're looking for 3000 psi. On the center system, we have
Parking brake.
set.
Nose door.
We'll check that's closed in a minute, but let's have a look at the weather, shall we? So, let's get our departure. And that's 1250 Zulu. Automatic 050 at 8. 10k. Broken at 3,400. We are going up to flight level 90. So I'm going to set 91. Broken at 3.4, broken at 5. Temperature of 14, G.6, Q1019. 9. 90. Gives us a sensible pressure reading. 3009, 80 feet. And then we will go and open up the door, take out the pin. There is our nose door closed.
Hydraulic panel and pumps.
So let's check these. Put that on, off, on. All the pumps are working, 3000 psi, sensible. Off 2 cautions, happy.
Electric panel.
Gen 1, Gen 2 off.
AC DC utility switch.
Let's pop that on.
Start ignition panel.
Checked out.
Fuel panel.
1, 2, 3. 2 greens, 2 whites. 1 white, 2 greens. 2 whites. 1 white. No whites. No greens. Two amber, 2 caution.
APU LCV.
So we're not going to open that yet.
10th stage isolation valve.
Or that.
Packs.
Or those.
Air conditioning panel.
Have a look at that, shall we? Normal, ram air out. Extinguished, guarded, temperature set to cabin, because we've got crew today.
Pressurization panel.
So ICAS 0 differential and minus 100 feet cabin altitude, which makes sense when you set it to 1013. Man rate centered, man out, sorry, centered, man rates all the way down. Press con in, man on, man ECAS out, fault light illuminates, both captions go out, emergency depressure out, extinguish guarded. And what are we looking at? So on arrival 3009, Southampton is quite low, so pressure about there. Landing elevation, let's just have a look at the charts for Southampton. So 75 at Yeovil, 44, so there you go, basically zero set. And the pip rate, there you go, pip is in line with the mark.
Bleed air panel.
So all out, and those should be on with the APU, but they're off for the moment. Make sure we check that before we go.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice panel switch.
Them's down here, and they all off.
Cal anti-ice switches.
So we pop those in, and we check that there is no cal anti-ice message. There is not. Pop it out.
Anti-ice panel.
We move up here. Wing switch is off. Left right heats off. Cal out. Extinguished. So then we go and pop those down. Push test. 1, 2, 3, 4. OK. Back to off reset. Ice detection. Caution. Wing overheat.
Wing overheat.
One oral. One
Wing
warning.
overheat.
And anti-ice test OK.
Wing overheat.
Emergency lights.
So we can't check those yet, but at the moment the emergency lights are caution off. Pop them on. You should get the info to tell us they're on. Go check them, make sure they work. Pop them to arm, and there should be no caution, which there isn't.
Passenger signs.
Gonna leave there. Pop them on so I don't forget.
ELT.
Finished fueling. Is armed.
Glare shield panel.
So there's nothing restricting the departure. We've initially set our altitudes, etc. So might as well do that now.
Crew and passenger oxygen.
We have 1880. You can press and listen to it, but I'm not going to. Of course, you would check it in reality.
DCU warning panel.
Is over here. Oh, extinguished and guarded.
CBR.
Push, hold, wait for the light. There it is.
Audio panels.
Not fuss this side. My side, we're COM1 mic 1 and standby is London South on COM1.
SPS system.
So, stall pusher switches, both sides are on. We are going down here and we put stamp trim 1 and trim all the way down to 0 units, making sure that we get the trim warning. Stamp trim disconnect. So flight controls displayed. Hold SPS left and right. Stall fail. Ignition. Stall warning. Vertically upwards. Continue holding. Push. Comes back. And can't be pressed. Let go and it all clears.
Integrated standby instrument.
That looks sensible, serviceable.
Clock.
Flight time 0 and UTC looks correct.
EFIS ICAS.
Checked.
Main landing gear bay overheat.
Is that one. Listen to the oral. Gear bay overheat.
Gear bay
Warning.
overheat.
Checked.
Gear bay overheat.
Might as well do the fail. Checked.
TOS warning switches.
So there we're out, extinguished,
Flight
guarded.
slope.
Testing.
Pull up.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up.
Good.
Pitch and roll disconnects.
Stowed.
Ground spoilers.
Auto.
Thrust reversers.
Armed. 2 green.
Thrust levers.
1 full free cut off. 2 full free shut off, not cut off.
Engine speed switches.
On.
Engine vibration check.
On. Vib checked. 3.5. And stops.
Oral warning.
Checked.
Smoke detector.
So, smoke is that one.
Smoke.
Toilet, baggage,
Smoke.
and oral.
Smoke.
Trims. Mach trim.
So, 1 Mac in, 2 in op push. Stab trim, Mac trim. 2 Mac, 1 in op push. Stab trim, both in, no caution. Mac trim, in, no caution. Pitch for takeoff, we're going to be relatively heavy, so I think we'll try about, let's try about 5.6 and see how we get on. No cautions, checked. I'm not going to do the aileron and rudder.
Yacht dampers.
They can come on, no caution.
Reversionary inhibit switches.
They are all set to normal, and the CD tune's out.
IRS.
Have a look down here to check the Irs status, MFD, display, and Irs. All in nav, all seem sensible.
CPDLC.
There's nobody online to request, so no clearance for us.
TCAS.
So, tune here. I'm going to want that initially. Relative, traffic on, test, and you can see on the PFD being displayed there.
TCAS system test OK.
Winning.
ATIS and clearance.
So, no clearance. ATIS we have, looking at the weather, 050 at 8. We can have a 3 knot crosswind from the longer runway. I think 08 would be preferred, so we will take that. It would be a 10 knot right crosswind if we used runway 04, which I think we could do. How long is 04? That's interesting. Usable lengths. There is nothing declared for the distance. So it's 1,464 meters, runway 04. Just having a look. 2 runways may be used at the same time. I imagine jets would prefer the long one. 4 and 08 is a right-hand circuit. That's fine. And takeoff limits, it's not LVPs, and there's nothing about preferential runways, etc. Although the way the military like to do things, sticking things in the DAM, the Defence Aerodrome Manual, is not particularly helpful. So clearance, no. Weather, yes. And if we have a look at Southampton's weather, the weather for Southampton, I'm just going to scribble down on another page. 1320 Zulu 0307. That's definitely going to give a preferential runway. Variable between 330 080 10k. Vicinity showers. No significant cloud. 16. 4018. And you can see 8,000 in light showers of rain on the forecast. Excuse me. So, happy with that.
FMS flight plan, wind update, perf.
So this is our actual flight plan. We've got the next one loaded up already. We have checked our routing. Yes. So our cruise is 90. Our fuel is 3690, which I have scribbled down. Our alternate cruise out to Heathrow is also 90. Our zero fuel weight is 13268. Done, done, done. Execute. We'll do the winds in a moment. Reserves. So our final reserve is 403. So let's put 420 in. Our estimated time of departure is 14:45. Yes, that makes sense. And our taxi fuel here is listed on the plan as 102. I'm going to call it 110. I think we'll need a little bit more than that. So we should be arriving at our destination with 3340. That's still 200 kilos more than our block fuel, which goes to show my estimated maths is not too bad. Because of course we need it for the next sector. Happy, set. VNAV. So 300.78, we're not going to get to that, we're going to maintain 250. Transition altitude out here is actually, I'm pretty sure, 3,000 feet it is. Our cruise, yes, fine. It's still going to be limited, so the airplane should still know that. And then on arrival, that sounds about right. There's not a lot to do there. So, let's do our departures. So, mid-08 is going to be climb straight ahead to 3,000. Then as directed, mid-08, runway 08, X. And then on arrival, I think it's going to be 02. And let's have a look at those charts for Southampton. We are going to be overhead the VOR. We might get vectored. So I think we would prefer a base turn VOR DME. Runway 02. No. I think we would, in that case, prefer. We could do it. We'd probably prefer the RMP for 02. Which means we'll get vectored direct. And let me just double check the weather that I've written down. 030 at 7 is definitely, you don't really want that much of a tailwind. So, on our 02 vectors, fine. The airplane's probably not going to like that too much. We're not using a star, we're just going direct. And so perf-wise, it's 14 degrees. Got a nice long runway, even though we're going to be relatively heavy, so we'll think about a D rate. And am I right thinking 50 is the max? So let's pop that in with our current wind 0508. Bearing in mind that even if we don't put that in, we've still got ample runway available. There's our field length. And flex 85. These are thrust reversers both. No obstacles to worry about. case, send it through. 157 plus 5, 162. But we're climbing straight ahead to 3 and turning en route. Is that mid to vector direct ADKIK? Yes, so yes, 3080. So what I think I'm going to do is just bring ADKIK up here, get rid of the vector, 3-1 and turn. Good. So Southampton, we can have a look. Not sure where we'll go to load our packs, but we will just park up. Why do I get the feeling? When did we last go to Southampton? Feels familiar. So 083 is what I need on the heading. No, I shouldn't have done that. It's already far enough around that we needed. 083. Good. Set. So, what was required on the check? Flight plan, wind update. We didn't do the wind update, so let's do that. Not that it's going to make much difference. It's such a short sector. So pop those in.
Takeoff data.
We did.
Avionics and charts.
So what do I want here? I've got the VORs for both. Rows on the left. Probably going to want a little bit more range. We are set to above. Terrain can come off. And charts I've got externally.
Flight instruments.
So, Toga is that one, N1 Flex, 85. Nav, yes, we can arm LNAV. First waypoint is plumbed in, FMS1, yes, straight ahead. 0.4 seems quite keen. I'm going to set any nav aids up, V-speed set. 200 is bugged because there's no restriction. 9000 is our cruise level. Attitude is sensible. VSI is 0. QNH is set. Flex is set. Happy.
Departure briefing.
We have discussed. We are going to taxi down to the full threshold of 08. We can take an intersection, but there's nothing published. So we'll go all the way down there and depart straight ahead above 3080, which is 3000 QFE, and then turn en route. Nothing more to say with that really. There'll be a left-hand crosswind, but it's relatively light. And then we're going to expect to speak to London at some point.
Emergency procedures. Pins, covers, chocks.
So nose chock is in. Rest have been done.
Cabin lights, water heaters, master seat.
We can't do much with the lights, but happy.
Flight compartment checklist complete. Engine start checklist next.
So, what time is it? I don't have the stopwatch, and we are ready. 15 minutes early, really. The turnaround is going to be a little bit busy. So not a lot to say really, just wait for the packs and then we'll get the APU started and then head off. So there's quite a few steps. We'll go 410 initially from Southampton, give both 320 down to ROKAN at 2423, and that is an Yeah, that's a Eurocontrol validated route. Took a lot of effort to get that to work. So off 1550 Zulu at Southampton is our plan. And the arrival in Stavanger is 1720 Zulu. Which is an hour and a half en route, which is not too bad. As you'll remember, I don't particularly enjoy very long flights. So I might as well just do the estimated times on the flight plan. I'll tell you what we could do. Have we got Southampton? I could tune Southampton. 1335. 1335, let's pop that on map 2. Why has it done that? Odd. Check that later. So, if anybody else out there is watching, please do say hi. And I'll just quiet while I am adding up times on the flight plan. So it should go relatively swimmingly. Our distance to Southampton is ground distance of 80, and bearing in mind we are not going direct, it would be even shorter if we were going direct, so we are just sort of joining the airway to get a bit closer. And yeah, so we'll think about the RMP. 510 for the minimums, I might as well put that in now.
Hello, Captain. It's Jenny from Hot Start Flight Support. Your passengers have arrived. Shall I have them brought to the plane?
Well, we might as well. Yeah, we'll just get the APU started and then they can jump in. The cabin is 18 degrees, so it's no rush really.
Understood. They'll be there in a couple of minutes. Anything else?
No, that's wonderful, thank you.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
Great. So, what else was I thinking about? We've done our minimums. So, landing performance. If we have a look. There we go. Destination. We're expecting 3-2. Our zero fuel is 13270. And we're expecting to have 3200 on board. Gives us 16.5. So can I do the approach performance? Okay, that deletes the V-speeds. I'll pop those back in a moment. So assuming nil wind, and assuming a temperature of 16 degrees, 018, runway 02, yes, no credit for the wind, and that's not, no, that is right, isn't it? Landing, no, I want length. Landing field length. I thought I had that set up. Anyway, nil wind at 17 gives us ample available, and we're going to be lighter than that. So I'm happy, but what I do need to now do is go back into takeoff. 1019, 14 degrees, it's now 15. And just go back to perf. 15, yes. Flex, yes. 1550, yes. Perf, takeoff. Winds are relatively light. Send those back through. That was a worthwhile check. B1, 120, 124.
Hello, Captain. Hope you are doing well today. Great.
Yes.
There's nobody else coming along today. So as far as we're concerned, we're all good to go.
Excellent. Well, settle in, make yourselves comfortable, and let's get the airplane started up. So, that should have been out, and I'm pretty sure I did put it out last time. So I'm just going to recycle that. We've got 3690, and time-wise it's 14:25. So let's start the APU up. And I'm going to start the chrono. So, Toto, hello. Yeah, so it is quite a it's quite a big factor, isn't it, for the what is it in the States, part 135? I like to use the factors in real world flying anyway. But what I was saying was I'm pretty sure I set up in the defaults page that I wanted field length. And that I'm sure we had done last time. And I guess it just didn't save, or maybe me mucking around in those previous flights. I'm not sure. But yeah, 1.4 is overly generous. And of course, if you're a private operator, you can arguably do whatever you like, although it is good practice. But then you enter test pilot territory. So we'll just let the APU spool up and stabilize, and then we will get going. And of course it could get quite busy once we get en route if we're having to speak to lots of people. Well, only one person I think we're going to speak to. But anyway, the approach is loaded. L9 VNAV. We can fly that into 02. Stand 3-1, so we should be able to just do an immediate left turn, right turn, and all the way round. Yeah, it's a good question, Toto. I mean, I'm treating this as my own aeroplane, I suppose. But yeah, you're right. Charters are very strictly regulated, of course, even in the States and in Europe. So you can arguably do what you like as long as it's legal when it's your own aeroplane. Right, well that's 3 minutes. So, LCV, yes. Isolation, yes. Packs, yes, and you can get rid of the ground power, shut the door, and let's think about getting going. Good, so still no one to talk to. Let's assume that we have called for engine start.
Engine start checklist. Doors. Closed. Parking brake and pressure. Checked and set. Fuel quantity and balance.
It is currently 50 kilos, that's what it is.
Beacon.
So, we have called, there's no one to ask.
On. Fuel boost pumps. On. Ignition.
What did we use last time? It's an odd day, let's go for alpha.
Armed. Engine 2 start.
So, thumbs up. 14:29, a little bit behind schedule. Start engine number 2. N2's rising, oil pressure is increasing, 20%. M1's turning. SM120 fuel on. ITT's increasing. Fuel flow increased. And oil pressure's increasing.
Fuel system.
So right's running, left low pressure is what we're looking for. Left, right pump. Left low pressure. Back in.
Engine 1 start.
Clear to start engine number 1. Start engine number 1. So N2 oil pressure increasing. 20% N2, ITT is less than 120, N1's turning, fuel on, fuel flow increases, ITT's increasing, oil pressure is increasing.
Engine start checklist complete. After start checklist, next.
Excellent.
After start checklist. Generator 1 and 2. On, checked AC and DC.
So
Ignition.
just checking AC and DC. 2 kVAs each side. DC all green.
Disarmed. Packs. On. 14th stage. Open. Cowl anti-ice.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to depart slightly from the checklist here. Pop that on. That on.
On, check 45 seconds. Flight controls.
Wrong one. I need to label these buttons. There we go. So, full forward, full aft, full left, full right, full left rudder, full right rudder.
Ground spoilers.
There we go, that's a bit better, isn't it? So, auto, nothing. Disarm, nothing. Armed, ground spoilers deploy. Back to auto. They stow.
Flight spoilers.
All the way up. It will come out. Flights go to half at half. Stowed. All stowed.
Cal anti-ice.
Cal anti-ice is on, as are the switch lights.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice.
Done.
Fuel balance.
It is 60 kilos within limits.
Trims.
Set, 1, 2, 3.
No steer.
Let's get the chock out first. Make it set. Thumbs up.
Armed. APR.
APR 1. Left right APR enunciated. 1 test OK. APR 2 go OK.
ADG unit.
Checked.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice.
Just waiting for that. There we go, look, bang. Came on straight away.
Cal anti-ice. Off. Wing anti-ice. Norm. 14 stage isolation valve.
In, on, out, off.
Wing anti-ice.
Is left right heat. N2's it's amber, wing anti-ice. On.
Checked. Off. ATS. N1 TO. ATC TCAS.
I'm happy with it out on.
After start checklist complete. Taxi checklist next.
Okay, taxi time. So it is 14, 34, 3660. And let's have a look. Yeovilton traffic prefect 99 Challenger 650 taxiing apron Lima Northern Taxiway hold short runway 08 Yeovilton traffic. So clear to taxi, clear left, clear right.
Taxi checklist. Taxi lights. On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Brakes and steering.
So brakes off. Brakes work. Check tiller for left and right. Works. And then we'll do the rest of the taxi checks. As we exit the dispersal. Pretty horrifically stuttery and currently GPU limited. And then again, see full left, right, sorry, full right, rudder, ball right, compass increase. Attitude stays pretty still. No needle on a turn coordinator here.
Reverse thrust.
Left, transit deployed, transit stowed, right, transit deployed, transit stowed. And one flex.
If taxiing the de-ice, pause checklist here until a paper de-ice checklist is complete.
We are not. So I've tried to tidy up a little bit of taxiways here with the signage. Still needs a lot more work. They are not. I do not think that they are labelled in letters, the taxiways at Yeovilton. They've all got names, which is incredibly non-standard. Oh, really? Right, let me try that. Ooh, I'll make the passengers chuck up. So, I'm getting 28 frames a second, GPU's at 290. So if I try... Oh no, it is on performance, but with smooth updates. I do see a bit of difference, and it's around the anti-aliasing. See, you know, around where where it displays. But fundamentally, it would be nice to get just to get hold of X-Plane 12 and see how that runs. So hopefully they release that pretty quick. London's just gone offline, which is a shame. Yeah. And I think Biobot did say that it does take a little bit of a hit, but I couldn't see. I tried to flick between the two. I didn't see much of a difference in performance with smooth on. Yeah, I might try it. So I can just about manage if it stayed at 30. It's when it drops down, and it's the inconsistency as well. So the CPU just spiked there for an unknown reason. I do try not to run anything else on the other screen, but you know, the video stuff doesn't help. I don't have an aversion to getting a new GPU, apart from the potential that it could very rapidly become obsolete.
Flaps. 20. Altimeters. Set and cross-checked. Radar weather. On. Takeoff briefing.
We've discussed.
Taxi checklist complete. Before takeoff checklist next.
So this is not 0826, so you can see the signage is a little bit sketchy because this would be just labelled as 08. Right, brake set, takeoff config was okay. We'll just check that before we go. It is not having the extra clock is annoying because I can just look down 1439. And we got 3.5 something. Yeah, it is, and you know what? I mean, even when the 40s come out, if they're unobtainium, maybe the price will drop for the 30s. I don't mind, but 3080s are still in the £700-800 range, and it's just a bit insane. Especially as it's ultra wide 1080, and if X-Plane 12 is a bit more efficient and you know exactly the same settings, I can get a little bit more out of it. I don't, like I said, I don't mind getting another one. It's just grief. Yes, so the identifier, the location identifier, should be outside, and they both don't match. So yeah, I've got a little bit of work here to do. I don't even think that they would have a taxiway identifier. This is the northern taxiway, so it doesn't even have a letter, which is very navy. Anyway, it is what it is. So, no one online to talk to. Heathrow Approach is online, so I think we will probably go overhead Southampton and then just make our way in, just to get an idea of what traffic's going. So, yeah, we're on 08, correct runway. What do we reckon? 3590, we're going to be taking off at 1442. Or 3580. Yeovilton traffic, Prefect 99, lining up, taking off runway 08, departing IFR to the south, Yeovilton traffic. So, clear left, clear right. I'll do a quick cheat. Check on the X-Plane map.
Before takeoff checklist. Passenger signs. Advised on. Anti-collision light. On. Pros. On. Windshield heat. On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Continuous ignition. On. ATC TCAS.
Yeah, you're right. It should be the way that you're looking at it, shouldn't it?
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice panel. Checked. CAS. Takeoff config OK.
Checked.
Landing, pulse, recog lights. On. Before takeoff checklist complete. After takeoff checklist next.
But yeah, so it needs a little bit of work. There's also no aiming point. There is a threshold, but there's no aiming point marks. So, whatever, we are going. Oh, managed to overshoot that a little bit.
80 knots.
Checked. Oh, and the V-speeds disappeared again. That was my bad, I should have checked those. Onto the flight director. Local positive rate, gear up. And they definitely were set before we went, so I'm not quite sure why they disappeared. So, safe height, safe speed, let's lower the nose. Flaps up. Oh, you can see my flying's all over the place. There you go, reasonable rate of climb. Not quite runway track.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear. Up. Flaps.
There we go, now we can turn.
Thruster resource. Off. Ignition. Off. Pressurization. Checked. PAX transition. Completed. N1. Climb set. APU generator. Off. APU. Shut down. Passenger signs.
I'm going to leave those for the moment.
CAS.
And checked APR, other than that, clear.
After takeoff checklist complete.
So let's roll wings level roughly there, because I'm going to just go direct in a moment. So let's get the airplane stable. I want heading, AP, flight level change, 250. And there's the airplane nosing over. Let's go ADKIK direct, please. LNAV AP out capture 250 in cloud. Right, what have we got in chat? Wiping out 15 tanks. Sounded like a Ukrainian. Too soon? Yeah, that's a pretty beastly machine. So, I think probably have pulse on, wouldn't we? Ooh, down to about 25 there. Ooh, down to 20 doing that. This should only be zoom level 17 max. I'm going to leave the anti-ice on just because we seem to be in and out of the cloud layer. But I think you have to admit the Ortho does look quite good. Ooh, frame rate, CPU, GPU being hammered. Yes, I definitely need an upgrade. So nothing online London-wise. So the MSA for Southampton 2,300. BAM2 is the initial fix. So I think I'm going to put a few custom waypoints in to sort that out. Is there anything I've forgotten? Pressurization wise, not really anything to worry about. Minimums are set for the approach. Let's just increase the range. We are 40 miles out from Southampton. So, why don't we do, if I do 180 to 10 DME, that might be not a bad little join. 1335 checked. We know we have ample performance. And you can just about see that up there. It's effectively, it's almost a teardrop. Just making it up myself. We could, of course, probably, you know, we could do vectors direct there, but whatever. So it's interesting you say default clouds, Glenn, because I found that default clouds were actually worse. The performance was really terrible with those. Even with active sky performance clouds, performance took a real hit. Fundamentally, just need new hardware. Or need X-Plane 12 to be more efficient. Just to actually use the headroom. GPU's about 70 odd %, so, and CPU limited at the moment. But getting 30 frames, I can live with 30. It's just the dips and the spikes, you know, you need to run at about 40 just to have any chance of succeeding. Don't forget, I mean, there's a lot of shadows on here. So, yeah, so do I, mate. You know, plugins are unfortunately the cause of much angst. So that's the approach. I think still 3.2. 3.2 will give us. Tell you what, why don't we actually get the ATIS? No, wrong one. Weather. There's no ATIS on there. And let's have a look. For a short flight like this, would you have left the APU on? I suppose it probably would have been a good idea. So, perf menu, approach, get the wind, get the weather. What I can do is put the weight in, we think 16.5. And 1420 020 at 9. Variable, so that's going to be X-Plane's wonderful turbulent magic. Scattered at 4,600. 15, 4, 1018. No, 15. Okay. Dry, yes. Yes, send that through, and field length ample. Huge, huge margin. But with that in mind, unless we stop by halfway, we are going to have to backtrack. Which isn't the end of the world. So V-speed sent 129 plus 5 gives us 134. Anything else I need to do there? No, I can think of, so let's get rid of the data. Yeah, I'm looking forward to X-Plane 12 too. I just need it to work. And so whilst I was GPU limited at one point, now I'm getting hammered on the CPU, which is GPU's running quite happily. It's just so variable, the occasional spike as well. So I'm going to set 2500. I am going to queue up 0, 1 and 8. ARM VNav. There you go, you can see that the thing we've done there, and it be manual speed. So is the procedure limited to anything? 185, of course, that's where we started. So bring it back to about 220 now.
Descent checklist. Shoulder harness. Passenger signs.
We've left them on.
Pressurization.
Yes.
Fuel quantity and balance.
70 again.
FMS, landing data, charts.
Done.
Approach briefing.
We've discussed.
VNav transition flight level.
Close enough.
Descent checklist complete. In range checklist next. In range checklist. APU.
That's useful to know, because what is the runway
Start.
width?
Altimeters.
37 meters. Yeah. Okay. Altimeters.
Avionics. External lights. On. N1 target.
Can't do that yet, can I? Yes, I can.
Set.
They should still be in there. Oh, that's looking nice. So, let's knock the anti-ice off. Southampton traffic, prefect 99, 4 miles to the west of Southampton. VOR proceeding outbound. RMP runway 02 approach Southampton traffic. What was the check that I missed there? AP we're waiting for. Yeah, I didn't twig the minimum turning distance, but the airplane turns quite well, doesn't it? So there's the Solent. Is the cruise terminal down there? Or is it down here? There's the cruise terminal. Titanic's berth is down there. Be nice if there were ships. Isle of Wight ahead of us. And I'm going to start bringing the speed back. It's 185 for that base leg. And we are descending to an altitude 1018. Set all those triggers that you miss when you don't have ATC online. There we are, struggling with the speed a bit.
APU PAX transition.
Use a
Veil
cheeky
completed.
bit of speed.
Generator. On. CAS.
Checked.
In range checklist complete. Before landing checklist next.
So 210, we can take flap. Maybe a bit uncomfortable in the turn. And that'll give us a 10-mile final. Southampton traffic, prefect 99, right base, RMP, runway 02, Southampton traffic. So 2 miles, I know it's a bit cheeky, but we are BMC, so I'm going to set our next, which is the cross at 17. There it is. Southampton traffic, prefect 99, final RMP runway 02, Southampton traffic. There you go, cruise terminal dead ahead. Must be pretty impressive coming into Southampton when there's big ships there.
2500.
17 checked, 3 miles to go. So we were nice and stable. Approach, RMP, checked. And I'm going to set that to 600. Very good view of the terminal there. There's probably not trees in the water there. Ex-Europe's got that a little bit wrong. Be nice to see when in X-Plane 12 when the water looks. I mean that doesn't look too bad, but it'll be better, won't it? Get out 160.
Before landing checklist. Landing gear lever. Down indicating. No steer. Arm center clear. Anti-skid. Hardened tested. Passenger signs. On. Wing cowl anti-ice.
So anti-ice not required.
Continuous ignition.
Yes, thanks Toto.
1000.
Thrust reversers. Armed. Spoilers. Stowed auto. Flaps. Set. CAS.
Checked.
Before landing checklist complete. After landing checklist next.
So some interesting trees on the approach there. No traffic by the looks of it. Southampton traffic, prefect 99, 3 mile final, runway 02.
Approaching minimums.
There's the airplane twitching around with X-Plane's variable winds. That's my excuse anyway. Continue. A little bit low on the PAAVOs. The VGP's okay. Get a little bit of foliage in the gear.
100,
Dirty dive.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh. Little bounce. Reverse is deployed. And we'll come to a gentle stop. Doesn't help with the runway there. The following the contours, it seemed a little bit excessive. And I don't think I managed to deploy spoilers either. So, there we go. Slowed down. So, was there anything that said that we had to use? Some of them do say you have to use the turning pads, but nothing on the airport chart. Atlanta said we touched down 206. Yeah, I suppose maybe. So, where are we going to park? Towers over to the right, cargo's to the left. These are all stands. I think we'll go over to the right.
After landing checklist.
Southampton traffic,
Landing
prefect
pulse
99, runway
recon
vacated.
Off. Anti-collision lights. Off. Continuous ignition. Off. Windshield heat. Off. Probes. Off. Wing anti-ice. Off. Cow anti-ice.
It's not required, is it?
Spoilers. Stowed. Flaps. 0. ATC TCAS.
Excuse me.
Alt on. Radar mode. Standby. After landing checklist complete. Engine shutdown checklist next.
So I think we'll just pull into one of these bays here. Excuse me.
Before landing checklist
No.
complete. After landing checklist complete.
That was just me hitting the wrong control. Avoid the trucks. There you go, something like this I think will do us. Brake set.
Engine shutdown checklist. Taxi lights. Off. Parking brake. Set. Reverse thrust. Stowed. Generators 1 and 2. Off. Engine 2 shut down. Fuel boost pumps. Off. Fuel system.
So just waiting for that check. And right low pressure, yes.
Engine 1 shut down. Check ITT below 350 degrees Celsius.
Checked.
Anti-ice. Off. 14th stage. Off. Beacon. Off. No steer. Off. ATC TCAS.
So I am just going to pop that to standby.
Parking brake if chocked.
What are we going to do? We might as well get the chocks in. Although we're not staying for very long, are we? Chocks in, brakes off.
Passenger signs. Off. Cabin differential. 0 psi. Engine shutdown checklist complete. Securing checklist next.
So, we can do the quick turn after this call.
Secure and checklist. Emergency lights.
No, I'm not going to secure, am I?
Engine shutdown checklist. Check secure and checklist. Engine shutdown checklist. Check ITT below 350. Secure and checklist. Emergency lights.
So I'm just going to leave that like that. So I'll do it through the menu in a moment. We're going to need to go out to the FBO and then come back, I think. No, I want to stand up. We've got 3160. We'll check the fuel in a minute, because all we're really doing. And you might be able to answer this, Toto. Do I need to offload the passengers, or if I go, put new passengers, will they then turn up? I don't mind offloading them via the phone, but I want to add 2 more.
Hot start flight support. Jenny speaking. How can we help?
Come and get him, Jenny.
Of course, I'll have that over with you in a minute or 2. Anything else? Always a pleasure. Take care.
So we'll leave the APU running, even though we've got a bit of time. Yeah, I just wanted to add, simulate that I was picking up 2 packs here before then parting en route. So while we're waiting, we can set flight plan, activate, okay, so I guess I could have just gone out and done it. I'm going to get out once they get collected anyway. But I mean, ideally it would just be nice to have 2 more jump on board, although I appreciate that's probably a bit of a, what am I looking for, niche use case. I don't think it's unfeasible though. Do a PAX pickup. It's usually point to point. So what do I want to do on the turnaround? I need to change the flight plan on active sky. And the alternate Echo, Bravo, Romeo. Guess that helps. So get everyone off the bus, and then we'll get back on the bus in a minute.
Our ride is here. Thank you, Captain. Always such a pleasure flying with you.
Well, she must have been on a different
rest
airplane.
of your day.
Because that landing was a bit interesting. So let's file a new flight plan whilst remaining logged on. Flight plan filed. Excellent. Let's load up the charts. And let's go into the FBO. And we'll do the quick turn check. Wow, that's my GPU dying. Not quite sure what's causing that. Is it the vehicle? It's going to boot me off in a minute. Let's see. Now we've got a slideshow. Yes, that was what I was thinking of doing, but GPU frame time going through the roof now. No idea why. Could that be the smooth changes in enhanced skyscapes? Literally a slideshow. Oh, there we go. Look, back to normal. What was that about? I mean, thankfully that just happened on the ground. Was it the vehicle? Because that's definitely happened before. Oh, okay. So you know it's the van. Cool. Right. So the packs can go back to the lounge.
Welcome to Hot Start Flight Support. How can we help you today?
And we would like to go 1535. Yeah, that's reasonable, isn't it? We don't need any fuel. We need 3 crew, 9 packs, so we're 2 heavier, and we're just going to leave that.
Of course, Captain. I'll get that organized for you right away.
Great. So, if I go to Chally, checklists, and
no further checklists.
No further checklists. Okay. Let's go.
Flight compartment checklist. AC and DC electrons.
That's not it. How do I get to the quick?
Nav lights, logo light.
No.
Engine start checklist.
No.
After start, engine start. Flight compartment.
Quick turn checklist.
That's the one.
Pressurization panel.
So, let's have a look at the charts. ENZV elevation is 29 feet, so it's basically the same, and 2982, so 0. About there. Nothing else has changed.
Anti-ice panel.
What am I checking for the anti-ice panel? Let's have a look. I don't think. Please do another check of that. Window heats.
Fuel panel.
Doesn't help, like, really can't hear her. Right, fuel panel. It's still on, we've got 3150. But we need block fuel of 3117, but we've got an extra 30 minutes so we can eat into a little of that.
Clock and FMS fuel used.
So, 20-minute flight time. I hold that should reset. And I've forgotten how to do the fuel use. What is it? I'm going to skip that.
Trims. Mock trim.
So, trims, 6 will probably be okay, 3 are okay, and they're all on.
8 is in clearance.
So there is no ATIS, there is no clearance. There are no SIDs for this airport either. Let's get the data link and do the weather again this side. And we can arguably get rid of that one. We can get rid of that one. Not that it matters. I'd really like to try the clearance, but anyone that's been online has not been forthcoming. So departures to Goodwood, that's what we want. Oh, that's interesting that they came back. So has this changed? No, but I'm on a different set of paper. So 1450 Zulu, oh, it has 360 at 10, 10k visibility or greater, scattered at 4,600, temperature 15.4, and still 1018, which is set. ATIS.
CPDLC.
No.
FMS. Perf.
So. Perf in it. That is gonna change, isn't it? Our cruise is initially 410, which strikes me as quite high, even though we're quite heavy. Heavy-ish. 260 for our alternate. And SimBrief gives me a 0 fuel weight of 13446. I'm going to scribble on another page. Or 50. Reserves again. Let's put 420 so we get a bit of notice. It's power estimated off time of 50. Taxi's probably with the APU running going to be a bit more, so let's call it 150. VNAV for Southampton is outside of the operation of Solent CTA, and the open times of Solent, OTAMs today, are Monday to Saturday 0530 to 2100, but today is Sunday, so it's 630 to 2100. I assume that's Zulu, so it is 6. Speeds happy, decimal 82 cruise happy. We may struggle, we may have to just struggle with the climb profile, see how we get on. And arrival, let's have a look at the arrival charts. Transition altitude is 7,000, so with the weather arrival being 1010, it's going to be flight level 80, because you need 1,000 foot difference, but you need the layer to be at least 1,000 feet in Europe. Happy. Perf. So with that in mind.
Hello, Captain. It's Jenny from Hot Start Flight Support.
Hello again, Jenny.
Your passengers have arrived. Shall I have them brought to the plane?
Yes, please.
Understood. They'll be there in a couple of minutes. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
So, index route wind update. Haven't even had a chance to look at the smooth weather transitions yet. Excellent. Right, pop those in.
Take off data.
So, let's do that to start with. Interestingly, we've got 17 in the sim, so I am tempted to put that in, and I guess that's the van coming back because I've got a slideshow again. X-Pilot may not like that. Murder in the GPU, literally. It's interesting, sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. What is interesting is X-Pilot hasn't kicked me off yet, so I guess that it's still, it must know that I'm on the ground. Now, is that going to affect real world time? So I know time.
Captain. Hope you are doing well today.
I am, thanks.
Great. There's nobody else coming along today, so as far as we're concerned, we're all good to go.
Wonderful. Sit down, enjoy the champagne, and enjoy the slideshow. So, 25 time is still the same, isn't it? So, perf menu, take off. We haven't even picked which runway yet. So, 360 is going to be 02. There are no departures. So, what is the departure? There is a departure. It is runway 02, initial climb, straight ahead 2.5 DME. And that's it. So, the VOR is arguably close enough to the runway that if I do 019, 2.5. Let's do 018 because it's ever so slightly offset. Something like that will do. And then direct to Goodwood. Yeah. Any notes on here? No. 11075. I can tune that up. Actually, no. 2.5 DME off of the VOR. No, we've got that tuned, it's fine. So, perf, take off. It's 360 at 10. says 15. Oh, maybe it is. We've got 16 now coming down. Maybe that's the Pro P. Let's call it 15 then. 1018. 9 knot headwind. .074. So we've got ample. So let's do that flex. Try 50 and see how we get on. Let's go back to takeoff. 406. Happy. Right, I'm going to send those through. Not touch them. 200's probably a bit keen. And the initial climb. There is nothing on chart to give us an initial climb, so let's take 6 initially. Still nobody online to talk to. So perf done. Takeoff data done.
Avionics charts.
There is not much change. Just need to set heading to 019.
Flight instruments.
Check set. I'm not going to do M1TO till we get taxiing, or at least until we line up.
Anti-skid.
So the brake is off. Anti-skid checked.
Parking brake.
Let's pop that back on. On.
Passenger signs.
Pop those back on.
Departure briefing.
We have discussed we will taxi via Alpha, and there are intersections. So I didn't see that. Intersections from Alpha 1427, and we need 1406, so we can go from Alpha. Then it's straight ahead to 2.5 DME right direct Goodwood. So on nav 1 I want Goodwood, which is 11475. Turn in the wrong one. Com1 set. Charts we've got.
Emergency procedures. Pins. Shocks.
So the brake is set. Let's get those chocks out.
Quick turn checklist complete. Quick turn checklist complete.
Just waiting for the thumbs up. Excellent. And it is 16:30, so I'm a little bit slow with my turnarounds.
Flight compartment checklist. Engine start checklist. Doors. Closed. Parking brake and pressure. Checked and set. Fuel quantity and balance.
We do have a little bit of a difference there. That is 140 kilos. So, why don't we do left talks now while I think about it? So, have we got enough fuel for our route? Yes, minimum takeoff's 2521, 3117 is our block.
Beacon.
So, nobody to ask clearance from.
On. Fuel boost pumps. On. Ignition. Armed. Engine 2 start.
Which we'll do in a moment. So, let's Get tuned, stand by. I'm going to do out on and above because we didn't change that. Happy days. So, nobody asked for clearance. It is 1632. $1633. We will start engine number 2. Clear to start 2. Start engine number 2. %. Just wait for less than 120. Let the ITT come down. There's 120, N1's turning, fuel on. Fuel flow's increasing. ITT's increasing. Oil pressure's increasing. And there you go. Can you see that? Yes.
Fuel system.
Don't need to check.
Engine 1 start.
So we'll just let engine 2 stabilize before we start engine number 1. 2462. Request start 1. Thumbs up. Start engine number 1. Oh, did I not hold it in for long enough? I think I moved the mouse. There we go. N2's turning. Wheel pressure is increasing. 20%, less than 120 we're not, so we're just going to let it motor until we get up to 120. N1's turning. There's 120. Now, fuel on. Fuel flow's increasing. ITT's increasing. Oil pressure increasing. And at the end of this flight, we'll check and top them up. We could have done it this flight.
Engine start checklist complete. After start checklist, next.
Yes, I know it's open and they've equalized, which is a great reminder.
After start checklist. Generator 1 and 2.
Available and not online. Let's do it that way. 1, 2,
on. Checked AC and DC. Ignition.
AC checked. DC checked.
Disarmed. Pass. On. 14th stage. Open. Cowl anti-ice.
Don't need to do that.
Flight controls.
We've checked them, but check them again. Full forward, full aft, full left, full right, full left rudder, full right rudder.
Ground spoilers. Flight spoilers. Cowl anti-ice. Supplemental ground fuel balance.
Checked.
Trims.
1, 2, 3 set.
No steer.
Chocks are out.
Armed. APR.
1 APR test OK. 2 APR 2 test OK.
ADG unit.
Oh, I didn't think I had to do that for this one, but we should do. There you go, light out.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice. Cowl anti-ice. Wing anti-ice. 14th stage isolation valve. Wing anti-ice. ATS.
We'll check before we line up.
ATC TCAS.
Is on. No one to talk to.
After start checklist complete. Taxi checklist next.
Excellent. So, parking stands. It is going to be 15:38. 3 minutes late for departure. We have got 29:50. Southampton traffic, prefect 99, taxiing via Alpha, hold runway 02, Southampton traffic. Check the map. Nobody about. And just get the Lanta running, which it is. Minimize that. Clear left, clear right.
Taxi checklist. Taxi lights. On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Brakes and steering.
Okay, brakes off. Airplane rolls. Full steering is available. Brakes work. And then we'll just vacate here to the right. I have no idea where you park in reality. Maybe up here. Ahead and to the right. I don't know. It's a challenge when you've got nobody to help you out. So that's just because of the turning, the fuel imbalance caution. There's definitely nothing on overhead.
Reverse thrust.
Just get the airplane straight. And we don't need to do that check.
If taxiing the de-ice, pause checklist here until a paper de-ice checklist is complete. Flaps. 20. Altimeters. Set and cross-checked. Radar weather. On. Takeoff briefing.
We have discussed.
Taxi checklist complete. Before takeoff checklist next.
So we'll take the intersection all the way down. That was unlucky, wasn't it? And we'll use up a lot of runway. V speeds are still set. Why don't we... I'll select. We can arm nav. V speeds are still set. M1 flex 85. Takeoff comping okay. And what do we think? 15, 40 something will be early.
Before takeoff checklist. Passenger signs. Advised on. Anti-collision light. On. Pros. On. Windshield heat. On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Continuous ignition. On. ATC TCAS. TARA. Supplemental ground wing anti-ice panel. Checked. CAS. Takeoff config OK.
Checked.
Landing, pulse, recog lights. On. Before takeoff checklist complete.
Wonderful.
After takeoff checklist next.
Southampton traffic, prefect 99, lining up, taking off runway 02, departure to Goodwood. Southampton traffic. So we've called. Comes down to tough. If anyone's on final, which doesn't look like they are. Let's call it 1542, 2940 by the time we get going. There or thereabouts. It's a bit of a dip in the runway. Let's go. Checked.
V1. Rotate.
Safe height, safe speed, flap up. So, waiting for 2.5 DME before turning. There's a bit steep. Well and truly out of trim. I mean, not quite runway heading either, but there's 2.5.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear. Up. Flaps. 0. Thruster racers. Off. Ignition. Off. Pressurization. Checked. Pax transition.
Oh, managed to bust straight through it.
N1. Climb set. APU generator. Off. APU. Shut down. Passenger signs.
We'll leave them on.
Cast.
Checked.
After takeoff checklist complete.
It's pretty bad flying there from me. And let's keep that going, shall we? Certainly running out of hands here. That's still a bit keen, isn't it? Let's go vertical speed at about 3. Let's let the aeroplane settle down. LNAV. There you go, I wanted to do that. And there's nobody about, so just go straight to 410. Oh, we out-captured again. This is just bad drills from me. So pressurization is fine. 2,000 feet a minute we are maintaining, coming up to 10. So take the 300 knot climb. Right, thinking 300. Yes, I know I can smooth that out using the throttle and flight level change. Where? So, LNAV, AP flight level change 300. Pressurization's checked, seatbelts are off, and we are happy. Easy's below us. That departure was not terrible, I suppose. Should be a reasonable turn. Might be a little bit steep. I really don't think you can beat Ortho. Like I say, zoom level 17, even 16 is pretty good. I think it's definitely clearer than FS 2020. The buildings may be better, but once you get in the air, this certainly does it. Although of course it does hoover up hard disk space. Where? 08 right where? I mean, I assume Gatwick, but not very smart. Passing 200, pressurization check, steady at 500 feet a minute. Easy going over the top of us. Boy oh boy, is it looking busy. Fortunately, it looks like it's going to be 0 ATC. 2 arrivals. So relatively quiet where we're going. Still got that turbulence. That variable wind. Let's pop turb on so we get less seasick. Then I might need a snack. It is 5 o'clock, so I'm going to be having a little bit of a late dinner. Didn't have much for lunch. I am peckish. Probably can't see the PFD, but the wind is just swinging about as X-Plane does. Active Sky interpolates very well, but X-Plane doesn't generate that very well, in my opinion. So there we are over here. ROKAN passing 276. So there's 0.78 of the climb. Right, I'm going to keep an eye on it and get some snacks, and I'll speak to you again soon. Right, so what have we been doing? Well, a bit of a drift down really, because we needed to drop down to flight level 230 here at CUTEL, and there were steps in between. I imagine this is because of airspace restrictions, but I didn't fancy doing that much of a dirty dive, so we've just drifted down to now about 300. Minimum rate of descent and climb is 500 feet a minute by ATC. They'd probably expect about 1,000 feet a minute. So now that we're overhead, and the time is 3:04, we are 10 minutes ahead of schedule. We have the same amount of fuel as predicted, which is good, and we're going to need to think about our approach. So I am going to do, let's just increase that rate of descent now. Don't want to get down too quickly, as that will increase fuel consumption. I'm surprised. I think we should have saved a little bit. Anyway, we have got 200 odd miles to go. Let's get the weather. Doesn't look like there's any ATC. Weather request. Send. Looking at the traffic, I don't think we'll end up doing the full arrival anyway. Let's have a look, shall we? So 1620 Zulu, 315 knots, 10k or greater, few 2000, towering cumulus, scattered 3400, broken 8200, temperature 10, dew point 5, connection 009. And no significant change. Prop 14 tempos, rain showers scattered at 800 feet. That's not an issue. So why don't we plan for the RNAV 300? That may change. What runways have we got? There's runway 29. So that mixes things up a little bit. There's an RMP for 29. And which UNBUD goes to runway 29? You're going to UNBUD. UNBUD 3 Romeo. That'll do us. Looks like point merge. So 3 Romeo, get rid of the other one. Way 29, they're both about 8-ish thousand feet. Let's have a look and see what they're landing on in reality, just for my own curiosity. Don't know, is the answer. The traffic appears relatively light. There's a 7.3 going in. Looks like they'll go for 2.9. So plan 429. Let's plan via KOBBI. And UNBUD through. And we are descending down. To flight level 230. So decent headwind. And what do we think we're going to be when we get there? 410. Which gives us 14.9. So field length, yes. Ample runway available, yes. It gives us 1, 2, 3. We'll go plus 7. This is 130, and we do need to bleed that speed off. Minimums for the RMP. OPV count C is 363. Gives us 370. And let's have a look through these. So, not sure what discontinuity there. So, Zulu Victor 968 above 10, yes. 969 above 8. And no restrictions until 957. Okay, now that's interesting. 953. No, 957, yes. Point merge, cover 41 above, 2. So that's it. N-span. No, it isn't. That's for the other one. Clearance limit, KOBBI. Approach, Osmot max 210, 33, 3.5, it's relatively steep, 2.8 above, yes, 3.5, yes, happy. So, I think perfect. I'm just going to update that now. Just so we get accurate top of descent info. It's gone down to 1270, 13450. 270 actually brings us down. .7, so let's try that, shall we? Lots of head down time there. So this is a 1.5 day trip boat from Southampton. Nice and leisurely. Well, that's interesting, they are actually using 3.6. Okay, we can replan for 3.6. 60 degrees off. That's a little bit key. Let's get a chance, just in case we did have to do this in reality. GCO, wrong one. So is it UNBUD 2 Tango for 3.6? Yes. Approach for 3.6, there's the ILS, and then there's the RMP. If that's a noise abatement thing. Yep, definitely using 3.6, right. So, let's replan that then, shall we? So it's not going to be how do I get rid of that star? That's how. Okay. So we are going to do the UNBUD 2 Tango. The RNAV for 3.6, which is going to be via LBUV. LBUV. Pretty similar arrival paths. Check for any discontinuities. So 2 Tango, UNBUD above, yes. 8, yes. Max 220 above 7. All the way round for a point merge into LBUV. LBUV to LBUV. Three max 220, PIDOG 210, 27, 1600, 36, happy, So nothing else has changed. Approach sector 1330. It's gone up a little bit. It's at 14.8 then. Speed's still the same. 2.4. The data happy. So no one has cleared us yet. I'm going to set flight 100. I'm going to arm VNav. Speed is active. Let's see how we get on. So like I said, this is a point merge, and therefore we'll see what we can. We go rev go direct, depending on traffic. There shouldn't be any traffic. That gives us our point merge, and then LPV Cat 1 is 280. Significantly better, and the approach is only 3 degrees. So there is the restriction. 10 set. VNav is armed. Looks like we're the only one inbound now. Whoever's departing has departed. There's a hold at UNBUD, but we're not going to hold because of course there is no traffic. Should we have got a beep for top of descent? Is that because we've done a turnaround? Those smooth transitions aren't necessarily working.
Descent checklist. Shoulder harness. Passenger signs. Pressurization.
Should be 0, yeah.
Fuel quantity and balance.
30 kilos.
FMS, landing data, charts.
We've done.
Approach briefing.
We've discussed. Point merge and then an RMP for 3.6. Minimums are set. No courses, and the airplane will do the rest. And the missed approach is left direct to LBUB and flying to 3000. Oh, make a new approach. Interesting. There's our descent.
VNAV transition flight level.
We've done.
Descent checklist complete. In range checklist next.
So in range we will probably start at Zulu Victor 725. Might be a little bit tight, maybe just before it. Once we get to about 30 miles from the VOR, 60 miles out at the moment. You could arguably just go straight to LBUV or do the point merge, why not? We would get vectored straight in. See the wind is swinging about. We've still got turbulence switched on just to try and smooth that out a bit. So, parking wise, go to park. Lots of aprons, lots of helis, lots of terminal. If I was private, where would I go? Maybe to the top. Probably not to the disused. Stavanger traffic, Prefect 99, Challenger 650, overhead UNBUD, inbound, UNBUD 2 Tango, RMP 36, Stavanger traffic. Oh dear, scenery textures could not be loaded. Wonderful. At least that doesn't break it anymore. So we've passed our 10 restriction, we can continue down to 8, the frame rate is tanking. Maybe it's a noise abatement thing, bringing everyone in this way. So I guess we'll aim to vacate at Alpha 1. Do a right and see what's up on the left. It looks like an apron up there. I suppose I could look on Google. Ah yes, that looks like little aeroplanes. Fly Club. Scan flight. And because it's a military base, it's satellite only rather than anything else. There's helicopters all out to the west, so yes, that looks reasonable. So VNAV's managing speed, which is good. EMBR, that's our alternate, isn't it? And that is Flesland.
In range checklist. APU. Started. Altimeters.
So, why don't I set 7? I know that's not quite right. Let's just make sure we got the latest weather. There's 10 anyway, so let's pop the lights on. Seatbelt sign is on.
Reset, cross-checked. Avionics.
Check.
External lights. On. N1 target.
Are we running? Engine bleed, we're not.
Set.
$16.50, a little bit of change, still 10, still 1009. Cool overhead rev go. $1,000 to go. And then we'll be down to 2.7, so let's do that now.
APU PAX transition. Avail completed. APU generator. On. CAS.
Checked.
In range checklist complete. Before landing checklist next.
Stavanger traffic, prefect 99, overhead rev go, altitude 7,000 feet. UNBUD 2 Tango, RMP 36, Stavanger traffic. So, max speeds, max 220. Let's actually start to bring that back. 200, as you can see, this is the point merge. it's sort of a point merge. If it were to be a point merge, these should all be at. But I can kind of see what they're doing. We've still got the anti-ice on. Still an LNAV, VNAV at the moment. And if we stayed in that, that would increase the minimums to 390. You're meant to check the rame integrity, I think, before plan to fly the LPV. I'm sure the airplane will shout at me if it needs to. And then PIDOG is 210 and 8 miles from the threshold, I think. Yes, 8 miles from the threshold. Shame no ATC, but never mind. So there's our turn. I think really at elbow on flap 1, match speed. You'll have to say that to me again in slow time, Toto. I think I know what you mean. You can toggle it, yeah. So what do we got? 7 miles. I'm not going to start slowing down just yet. Nice gradual descent. It's sort of a point merge. You could use it as a point merge. I think it might be a little bit of a dirty dive if you did. Let's have a cheat and look at the VATSIM map. No, these people appear to be going in. At least I hope they're not. So I'm going to leave the anti-ice on just in case we pop into these clouds again. The scenery is not looking too bad. A bit mountainous. 1,000 to go. Checked. It's really kind, thanks. There's still a lot to learn, but hey, I've got DA40 reading to do tonight. So this was just more to get my head back into the 4-dimensional world, rather than the 3 dimensions we're stuck in as groundlings. So let's take flap 1, bring that speed back to 180. Stavanger traffic, prefect 99, overhead elbow, altitude 3,600 feet, inbound RMP, runway 36, Stavanger traffic. That's not looking too bad. Stuttery. CPU spikes. It's in the 20s, it's not great. Maybe it's the terrain mesh that's... it's GPU, well it's sort of flip-flopping between the two. So, the reason that I always forget to arm the approach, etc., is because there's no one to clear me for the approach, which is the trigger to push the button. LPV. Happy. Approach LNAV, yes. And path, yes. And we're still 8 miles out, so flap, first stage of flap 20 is still fine. There we go, VAL's capture. So let's keep that down. 16. Or PV, yes. BGP, yes. All looking good. So captured. The mist is 3. Stavanger traffic, prefect 99, 7 mile final, RMP runway 36, Stavanger traffic. So, looks like we'll be alright for anti-ice.
Before landing checklist. Landing gear lever.
Go to a 4.8. But we're still VMC.
Down indicating. No steer. Arm centered clear. Anti-skid. Armed tested. Passenger signs. On. Wing cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Continuous ignition. On. Thrust reversers. Armed. Spoilers. Stowed auto. Flaps.
Just holding on the landing flap.
Set. CAS.
1000.
Checked.
Before landing checklist complete. After landing checklist next.
Well, the scenery and the ortho is looking good. Frames in the mid-20s with an occasional spike.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Continue.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
That wasn't ideal. I wonder if it's just those gusts being modelled. So there's 60 knots. Stow the reversers. Easily make the exit. Not too fussed about getting it down. With all the spare runway available. So there's Alpha 1, we'll turn right.
after landing checklist. Landing pulse recog lights. Off. Anti-collision lights.
Stavanger traffic, prefect
Continuous
99, runway
ignition.
vacated.
Off. Windshield heat. Off. Probes. Off. Wing anti-ice. Off. Cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Spoilers. Stowed. Flaps. 0. ATC TCAS. Alt on. Radar mode. Standby. After landing checklist complete. Engine shutdown checklist next.
Brilliant. So, what did Valanta say? That touchdown was 227. We'll have a look at the replay of that. Freight and GA. Okay, that's all a bit of a mess. We would get directed in reality, wouldn't we?
Hot Start Flight Support, Jenny speaking.
It's
How
Jenny.
can we help?
Please come and get him.
Understood. We'll have that ready for you. Anything else?
Nope.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
So, why don't we just park up here? This isn't a bad effort. Close to the road though, I guess.
Engine shutdown checklist. Taxi lights. Off. Parking brake. Set. Reverse thrust. Stowed. Generators 1 and 2. Off. Engine 2 shut down. Fuel boost pumps. Off. Fuel system. Engine 1 shut down. Check ITT below 350 degrees Celsius.
Checked.
Anti-ice. Off. 14th stage. Off. Beacon. Off. No steer. Off. ATC TCAS. Parking brake if chocked.
Once we're chocked, we'll pop that off.
Passenger signs. Off. Cabin differential. 0 psi. Engine shutdown checklist complete. Securing checklist next.
ADKIK. Welcome friends to Stavanger. There's nobody online. Disconnect off the VATSIM. And while we wait for the van,
Our ride is here. Thank you, Captain. Always such a pleasure flying with you. Have a nice rest of your day.
Let's pop these on, hopefully they're not too hot. And I've written down the shutdown time because we are going to check the oil. Have a look at the replay, and I think that shouldn't affect it if I'm correct. Toto's far too smart for all of that. So I've been leaving that on. Is it meant to be turned off? I've been leaving that on in flight, and then turning it off when I've come to shut down. I suppose it didn't really need flight, is it? No, which one of these? There we go. Deafened by the APU. So the packs have gone.
Secure and checklist. Emergency lights.
I will do that in future then. What's next? What did I not hear? Emergency lights. Done.
AC/DC utility switch.
Off.
Headsets. Thrust reversers. Chocks.
In.
Parking brake.
Off.
Hydraulic pumps.
Yes, yes, they sure are.
Nav lights, logo light.
So I'm going to leave those on for the moment.
APU generator.
And that.
APU start stop. Packs.
We'll do those as well.
LCV, 10th stage isolation valve.
As of course the rest of the checklist goes off.
APU power fuel. ICAS APU gauge. Battery master. Cockpit refuel panel.
Bingo bango. This is on the check. 1210. It's always useful to know how much you had on board.
Service lights. Pins and covers.
We did.
Securing checklist complete.
So let's just finish that off from the paper one. Parking brake off. Thrust reversers we did. Wing cowl anti-ice we did. Chill heat off. So external lights, emergency lights, pumps, APU gen, APU shut down. Interesting that it's that way around. Packs off. 10th stage. Nav lights come off, and then we'll just let that shut down. So, interestingly, Toto, at the beginning of this stream, I wonder if that's not something you modelled, because I did leave it on last time, which must have been a week, and I was expecting to have issues when I started up today, but we didn't. So there's another Easter egg to catch out the unwary that you could potentially include. When was the last time I flew? I can't remember, but it must have been a good few days, and the batteries were still at 25 volts. So yeah, it seems strange to me to do it that way, but I guess it just instead of the turbine cycling through different temperatures as you turn stuff off, they're the ones that should know. You'd like to think, wouldn't you? Power fuel can come out. Should have done that already. And everything on the overhead looks sensible. Then we'll have a look at the replay. I hope in X-Plane 12 the variable winds are a bit less turbulent. That would be nice. So just waiting for the ICAS CPU to disappear. Yeah, I only guessed it wasn't modelled because otherwise I did expect it to drain the battery. I assume that's a relatively easy calculation. You know the capacity of the battery, you know the charge state, and you know how long it's been on. So, happy days. That's all off. I'm disconnected from VATSIM. Let's have a watch the replay. Oh, that'll do. It's not bad, is it? Get Norwegian spotter view. Having a walk in the field with the family. No sound.
$80 knots.
That was the touchdown, but no shadow. Let's see if we can see that from the side, eh? Yeah, batteries disconnecting with everything off does make sense. About along here. Yeah, that was a bit flat. Could have been better, but could have been worse. Fair enough. That's, hey, you are definitely a man with a plan. So, welcome to very pretty Stavanger. I hope you enjoyed the trip with the little turnaround as well, just to mix things up a bit. Thanks to the main man himself for joining as always. And until the next time, friends, hope you enjoyed it. Look after yourselves. Probably won't see you tomorrow, but hopefully I'll see you again soon. Until the next time, bye for now.